Welcome to subramani.com. Today is a lecture on economics, and I know there are far superior economists out there. So let me just make an attempt. So you've heard of one thing which many people would have told you: when interest rates go up, bond prices go down. Let me repeat: when interest rates go up, bond prices go down. This is true. There is only one thing missing in this. When interest rates go up, bond prices go down in the short run. One. And second, this basically comes from the maxim that when interest rates go up, asset prices go down. Or when interest rates go down, asset prices go up. When we say asset prices, we mean every asset. Okay? So now let us talk of four asset classes that we can talk about. One is bonds, which is money given on interest. Second is equity. Third is gold, and fourth is land. Now, largely you are taught that when interest rates go up, bond prices go down, and when interest rates go down, bond prices go up. This is what you are taught in school. Actually, you're taught this in economics first and then in your MBA finance. So, what happens is, suppose you have a 10-year RBI bond or a Government of India security, which is carrying interest of 8%. If interest rates fall to 7%, I am willing to pay more for the bond simply because I'm saying, okay, I want only 7% now because 7% is what I will get in the new bond. So to the extent that this price has fallen, I will pay a premium. However, how much premium I will pay depends on how long there is for the maturity to happen. We are now in August, so if the maturity is going to happen in March 2021, I am not willing to pay too much of premium because I know the bond will be redeemed at par. So currently there are some State Bank of India 9.95% interest bearing bonds which are quoting at more or less par value. Why? Simply because if you look at YTM, yield to maturity for 2026, when the bond is to mature, it looks like a very attractive price. However, there is something else. There is something called yield to call. And the call is likely to happen in March or April. So the price being quoted at today is just 10,000 rupees. There is no premium to it. If you think there is an element of premium to it, it is just the accrued interest. So there you will get the accrued interest. So in March or April, March when the call happens, you will get 10,995 for the bond, where 995 is the interest and 10,000 is the principal. So nobody is willing to pay a premium for that bond because it is only 3-4 months away, right? So if anything, you should sell off the bond today itself because it is fully priced at 990. If it is priced at 990, sell it off because in March you are going to get the same amount of money. So it doesn't really matter. Now, when I said bond prices change, it is easy to understand. But similarly, equity prices also change. Real estate prices also change. Gold prices also change. However, these assets are governed by something more than just the interest. Now, what happens in a bond? Money can move from any currency to any currency, assuming that rupee, yen, yuan and the dollar were all free currencies and all the strong economies more or less equally strong. Then every interest rate change in one country will impact the interest rate in the other country. So if US goes to zero interest rate, India, Japan and China would have to go to zero interest rates. However, because currencies have some limitations. So the Indian rupee, it's not a free float. You cannot just take out as much you want and bring in as much as you have, right? So therefore, India can afford to be at 5-6% interest rate, which is the arbitrage which is available. So you can actually borrow in the US and lend it in India and you will get 5%. Minus the currency fluctuation, right? So the currency is the other factor to be considered when moving money. But money is easy to move. You can move money from US to Japan and Japan to India at a click of a button, right? Yes, you can't move billions of dollars because India will not be willing to accept, or India, if you want to move it out after 3 days, you may not be able to do it. So the Indian currency will not move in perfect tandem, but it will move in tandem minus the friction or the costs of moving it, right? Now, people then try to draw saying, oh, interest rates act as a millstone for equity prices. So when interest rates go down, equity prices should go up, right? This is not perfectly true, because what happens in case of equities, there are other factors coming into play. For example, LIC Housing and HDFC Limited are not exactly same. HDFC Limited is more like a hedge fund. Look at the number of companies it promotes. Look at the number of other assets that it has in its book. So the PE available to HDFC Limited is the factor which decides the price, and money will not just move in very easily between, say, LIC Housing to HDFC Limited. Whereas if I have a 10-year RBI bond and a 11-year RBI bond, or a 10-year RBI bond and a 20-year RBI bond, other conditions remaining same is a very, very fair assumption. So if I have a very liquid 10-year bond market and a 20-year bond market, then money can move between the two. So subject to some reasonableness, the prices will move in tandem. Prices will definitely move in tandem, but the gap will be easily explainable or explicable to every layman. But the price movement in equity will not be so simply explained away. So I am willing to pay an X price for HDFC Limited today, or an X price for HDFC Bank today. It does not mean when interest rate changes, the move in the HDFC Bank or HDFC Limited prices will be the same as LIC Housing Finance. Because here the word other conditions remaining same do not hold. Because, for example, HDFC Limited price includes the possibility that tomorrow, if there is an IPO in one of the companies it holds, you are given 200 shares free, right? So that is also priced in. What happens if they sell 1% of HDFC AMC shares or HDFC Life share? That will throw profits into it. So the PE at which HDFC Limited is available will be much higher than the PE at which LIC Housing is available. I am not saying you have to make a choice between this or that, but other conditions remaining same, the impact of interest cost on equity prices is far more difficult to gauge. In a bond which is an RBI bond or a Government of India bond, I know exactly when I will get the interest and how much I will get. Like I have this bond which is paying me 9 rupees 95 paise on a 10,000 rupee, on a 100 rupee bond. And I know I will get it on the 31st of March. So that is very clear, and I know because it is Government of India, stroke SBI, stroke RBI, there is no question of default. So I don't have to price anything except the timing of money. The only factor which governs the price of a solid corporate bond, I am putting SBI bond as almost on par with a RBI bond. The only thing which matters is interest rate. So interest rate governs that. Now we take equity. Equity, there are other factors governing that. Quality of management, how does the management treat you, what other things do they give you. For example, if you are an HDFC Limited shareholder, you got shares of HDFC Bank, HDFC Mutual Fund and HDFC Life Insurance. All of that thrown in, that cannot be priced in only in the, that all gets priced in the PE. So HDFC Limited gets a higher PE than its other mortgage lenders. It's not a pure mortgage lender, it is a hedge fund without, it's a Berkshire Hathaway of India. So it gets a completely different PE. So does HDFC Bank. Now what happens in case of real estate? I buy real estate in some part of Mumbai, say worth 2 crores, and I give it on rent. How much rent do I get? Maybe about 2 lakhs if it's in the suburbs of Mumbai, and about 4 lakhs if it's in the better suburbs of Mumbai. So 1% or 2% is what I get, which itself is a huge arbitrage between what I can get from the bank deposit, right? So it is ridiculously wrongly priced already. Real estate is ridiculously wrongly priced, or interest rates in India are the real interest rates in India are far different from the nominal interest rate that you are seeing. When I mean real interest rate, I mean nominal interest rate minus inflation. So the real interest rates are perhaps wrong. Now what happens is I have this flat which I bought for 2 crores which I have given on rent in 2015 and I am getting 2 lakhs rupees per month per annum rent. Then in 2016 it becomes 2 lakh 20, then it becomes 2 lakh 40, then it becomes 2 lakh 60, then it becomes 3 lakhs. Now if you say that the denominator has not changed at all, it is always at 2 crores, what has happened is the 1% yield has gone to 1.5% yield. Believe me, this has got nothing to do with interest rates, because when interest rates change, the denominator will also change. If in an inflating economy, if you have a real asset, that will increase by a good percentage every year. But if interest rates are held constant and inflation is held constant, the first victim would be real estate. So real estate in Bombay or in India will not move for long periods of time, and once when it moves, it will make a big jump. There is not enough rational explanation for real estate prices, because the change in real estate prices in Mumbai city alone will be very different in different suburbs. For example, in Marine Drive, there is no supply. In Mira Road, there is no demand. So the percentage change in real estate prices between Mira Road and Marine Drive could be very different. So you can't say, oh, interest rates in Mira Road and Marine Drive are the same. Why is the change in price very different? Because of these factors, that the demand is driven by something else. Let's say your father bought a house in, let's say your grandfather bought a house in Kalba Devi, but your father felt it was too crowded and you didn't want to live there because you could not even take an ordinary car. Your grandfather had bought it in 1910. So, or 1915, or maybe it was a great grandfather, and you could only take a cycle into that place. So your father said, no, this is not a good place for me to live. So he shifted to, say, Santa Cruz, where he bought a house with a single car park. Now you look at your dad and say, Dad, I don't want to live in Santa Cruz, it's too crowded and there's only one car park. I am shifting to Powai and there will be 2 car parks. Right, you made your move. Now your grandson comes and says, Grandpa, this is such a lousy place, I don't even have a helipad. Where will I park my helicopter when I come? So tomorrow there might be newer buildings in a different location where people move by helicopter. That can happen. Right? Now this COVID has taught us one thing, that people can work from home. So that will change real estate usage. So real estate taste and real estate usage can change dramatically. Now if all of us can work from home, why should we have a home in Bombay? Why can't we have a home in Coimbatore or Surat or Baroda, right? Or Ratnagiri, right? You could be sitting on the beaches of Ratnagiri and working in Mumbai. Once in a while you take your car and come, maybe once a month or once in 15 days. There is absolutely no reason for you to be in Mumbai. So land usage changes, land taste changes, people's need changes. All these changes will make sure that real estate prices are definitely dependent on interest rate, but usage could change, right? Usage and taste, when it changes, prices change. So interest rate is one of the factors. Take the case of gold. Gold does nothing for decade, or maybe at least for half a decade, then 1 week or 1 month because of some COVID or some war or some Iran-Iraq war or anything like that, and Farag, and you see the prices go up. That does not mean that prices will be sustained. However, a lot of people will come in and give you worksheets showing how in the last 2 months gold has moved so much. So annualized return is 42%, and so if this happens to gold permanently for the next 122 years, this is how much the gold will be worth. Not true at all. Gold use changes. Now, and people can change their mind. So Buffett, who said, what is gold? It is dug 300 feet below in Africa, it is refined and it kept 300 feet below in America. There is no value add, so one should not buy gold. But recently he has shifted from financials to gold, right? So people's usage changes, people's taste changes, and suddenly some guy who is buying so much of gold will tell you, Subra, I am not buying gold, I am betting against the dollar. Wow, right? So different reasons. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that only bonds move just on interest rates and just within the country. If the American could come and invest in Indian bonds unlimited and take it out, then Government of India bonds won't be selling even at 5.5, they would be selling at very close to zero. Or their Germans would invest in Indian bonds at close to zero. However, they are factoring in a recession. When they say negative interest rate, they mean there is a recession coming, so they are saying let me at least protect my capital. I'm just losing 0.5% a year. They are not saying interest rates will go down even further. They're saying let me protect my capital. Either I keep it in US dollar and earn 0.5%, or I keep it in the German mark and lose just 0.5%. That's okay. At least my capital gets protected. They are willing to pay that price, right? So currency affects interest rates all over the world. There is no currency risk within the country. So if I can borrow from my bank at 9%, and buy real estate, which I am sure will appreciate by 12%, then I am doing an interest rate arbitrage without a currency risk. However, if I borrow from US and I buy assets in Japan, I am taking the dollar yen currency risk. Therefore, that has to be priced in. Real estate, taste changes, usage changes, ability to buy changes, needs to buy changes. There is a young generation which says, I'll keep taking it on rent. So till the rents catch up with bank interest rates, suppose bank interest rates are 6% and yield on rentals is 3%, the 3 has to go to 6 before changes happen. Similarly in gold, interest rates is a very important factor, yes, but sometimes when people are scared, they will pay a much higher premium, or when out of laziness or whatever reason, then slow updation of belief, or a little rate to react, but they'll say, oh God, I have no gold, let me buy gold. Then they will chase immediate performance. So all these factors play a role in assets other than bonds. Thank you.